Welcome to the Church Law Tax Tips from a Pro video series. Today we'll be discussing love gifts with CPA and author Elaine Sommerville. So let's jump right in.
When money, gift cards, or a combination are given to, in this instance, maybe it's an employee that's leaving, maybe it's a pastor that's retiring, maybe it's a staff member who's taking a job somewhere else. And so some type of money or gift card arrangement's been created for them to give to them. Is there a difference when that gift is given as a thank you for services rendered, or it's really genuinely just a gift to show love and appreciation for the person? And again, thus with the idea that it wouldn't be taxed. Is there any kind of distinctions that can be made there in those kinds of scenarios?
The biggest distinction you're going to come up with is anytime a church is instrumental in gathering the gift or encouraging the gift, you have now created a transfer between an employer and an employee. And so you have made it impossible for it to be tax-free because you've utilized church resources. They've stepped in as the employer and said, we appreciate this service, or we want to show love and appreciation for all the work done. Almost every time we see that, there's no way that we avoid that. The big areas we find that we can address it, and maybe it becomes what the technical term is detached and disinterested generosity. Just because I really like you, as we would say in Texas, I want to give you this money, so to speak. And with ministers, it's very difficult that the next sentence that is unspoken is not because of everything you've done for me and my family. And so anytime once the minister has moved to because of how you've ministered to me, because you were there for my family during, my son's drug addiction, because, you've served us well. Anytime you you tack those onto your thank you, it's no longer detached and disinterested. And so it's very difficult for anyone within the congregation who is set under a minister to give a true gift to that minister, unless they happen to be related to them. So
detached and disinterested, that sounds so loving.
Terribly technical there, but that is the language the court still refers back to in a very old court case deciding one of these between an employer and employee.
Well, good to have that frame of reference now, and just realizing you really, if you're going to give a gift, it has to be a gift. It cannot have any association to anything that's been done. And
so it has to be outside the church too. So if a church is generating this gift, it's important for the church to understand they have to know what the amount's going to be because of reasonable compensation. They have to run it through payroll. They have to report it on the minister's W-2. It's not just going to be hand them a check. We have a lot of church cultures that literally would accept, they encourage people to put cards in a box at the front of the church, and then they handed the box to the pastor. We can't do that under the current law. And so there's reporting requirement, there's payroll requirements, there's reasonable compensation issues to deal with. And a lot of people in churches say, well, everybody, it's not deductible, that fixes everything. And it doesn't actually fix anything. That's one of the fallacies behind the whole subject. So there are definitely a lot of things to think about. I encourage churches, if you're planning a special occasion offering to bless one of your pastors, you should seek professional advice before you tell anybody about it.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to visit our website every week or subscribe to our YouTube channel to access every tip in this series. We also invite you to explore Elaine's latest edition of Church Compensation for even more tips just like this.